so much better than ACOTAR. I'm not that level of depressed where I want to read it knowing how that one ends, because honestly a lot of the books that I read are romantasy, because I don't want to think. Hello guys, and welcome to Vlogmas day 1. It's been a while since I've uploaded on this channel. I don't really know why, I just haven't wanted to, but I decided I wanted to pick it up again and right in time for Vlogmas as well. So today is Sunday the 1st of December and it is currently 10:04 in the morning. Yeah, so far today I've just woken up, gotten ready for work, and I'm now in the car at work about to go in. Figured I would go in a little early and look at Kmart because why not? So yeah, I don't really know how much footage I'm gonna end up getting today, but I might want to talk. Sorry, there are so many people around that I'm starting to feel a little self-conscious, but yeah, so I don't really know how much footage I'm going to get today, but I know that I want to go through the books I've read this year and also a bit of like a December TBR for during Vlogmas, because I have like 3 books left of my yearly goal, so I have to read 3 books this month. But yeah, I am gonna go now and I will check in with you guys later on. Hello guys, so it is now 2:40 and I have finished work. I walked around the shops for a little bit, didn't really buy anything. I got like a Christmas shirt for work and a gluten-free double chocolate chip muffin, so not really fun. I just kind of had a look at a bunch of different things, but yeah, I'm now going to head home. I am so tired, it was really busy, so I will check in with you guys when I'm at home. Hello guys, so it is a lot later. It is currently 7:30 at night and I haven't really done that much. I decided I'm going to discuss the books that I've read so far this year. I have read 22 books this year, so some of them is going to be a bit of a speed round until we get to the ones that I really loved, and then I will talk about them more, but I'm probably going to try and do it in very few words. So I've actually like written down every single book other than the last one that I read, and I'm going to go through them based on this, so bear with me. Alright, so the first book that I read was Percy Jackson, The Titan's Curse. I never read these as a kid and I regret it because I love the series. I love Greek mythology. Yeah, I rated this one 4 stars and I really enjoyed it. The next book that I read was The Fury, which I read this in February. It was the QBD book of the month and we're meant to like read them. So like a lot of the books, I think 2 of the books I read this year were book of the months. I kind of just skim read the first like few bits of a few of them because I'm not really that big of a fan of crime fiction. I'm trying to get into it, but I read before bed. It's not really a genre I want to read before bed. But yeah, this is The Fury by Alex, I am not going to pronounce this right, Michaelides, same author as The Silent Patient. I enjoyed it. I mean, I read it in like a day and a half, because I don't know, I don't want to like spoil anything, but yeah, it was good. I rated it 3 stars though, because I I don't know, it wasn't for me. I'm not a crime fiction girly. It was not for me, but it wasn't bad. I obviously, like, I read it in a day and a half, so that's hard for me to judge of like whether it was good or bad. I think it was just the main character I didn't like. But yeah, that's the second book I read. The third book I read was Assistant to the Villain. I loved this one. This is what got me into fantasy, romantasy books more this year. Yeah, it was great. It's like a rom-com, like The Office in a medieval, like, villain's lair. I really loved it. It was hilarious. It had me laughing my ass off. I really, really loved this one. And yeah, I rated it 5 stars. The next books that I read was the entire ACOTAR series, which I bought myself the hardcovers of. Yeah, this entire series I really, really loved. We're going to do a speed round of each book and my ratings for them, which I'm going to just double check on here because I don't know. I'm a bit of an iffy, like, I'll rate things and then, like, I'll change my mind later on. So a lot of it, as I was like writing this list, I kind of changed the ratings based on like other books that I've read this year. So like a couple were 4 stars, were 5, and then I went, I actually really enjoyed other books as I'm getting more into reading. So yeah. The first one, I already had read this in like, I want to say 2016. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Didn't like Tamlin, hated him. Lucian was right there, so didn't make sense to me. But yeah, 3 stars. Enjoyable, but not that enjoyable because I really did not like Tamlin. Yeah. The second one, which I know this one is a lot of people's favorites, I enjoyed it, but I was less into the romance, more so the political, like all of the High Lords and like the war type stuff. So I rated this one 4 stars. Third one I really loved. It was my favorite until I read the last one. But yeah, this one I rated 5. Really, really loved it. Then this one here, which is A Court of Frost and Starlight. It's like the little novella. Some say 3.5, other people say 4. It is a separate book, so I'm gonna say 4 because no matter how like big the book is to me, it's a separate book. Yeah, I loved this one. It's like a Christmas holiday special. Loved it. Yeah, I rated this one 5 stars as well because I really, really love all of like the characters interacting in like somewhat of a happy way, and I really do think people often want to skip it. You can't. There's so much building up in this tiny little novel towards the next one and even future ones. Yeah, I really, really loved it. If you're looking for something to read this Christmas with a Christmassy vibe and you have read the other 3 ACOTAR books, read this one or reread it. I might do that because Christmas holiday special. Yeah. I then read the last one, which this one here is my favorite. I am a Nesta girly. I know that she's not necessarily good, but the way this book was written, like getting her point of view, I know that people say that they did not like Feyre or Rhysand from this, but again, it's in a different perspective. You're gonna see Rhysand differently because it's not in Feyre's perspective. But yeah, I really, really loved it. My favorite part of it was the friendships. That one I also rated a 5 stars and it was my favorite out of the series. I'm very excited for the next book when it eventually comes out. But I have a lot more Sarah J Maas reading to do before I get to that one. Yeah, so the next book that I read after that series was Throne of Glass, which this series I have read 1, 2, 3, 4 books of. So much better than ACOTAR. I loved ACOTAR, but Throne of Glass is amazing. I rated this one 5 stars. Right? Yeah, 5 stars. I really enjoyed it, even though most people don't. And say like the first 2, nothing really happens, and I kind of like it. Like, I know it's not necessarily like as big and as like many things happening as in like the later books, like Queen of Shadows and other ones, but I really enjoyed it. So yeah. Oh gosh. Okay. I then went straight into the second one, which I loved, 5 stars. Yeah, I was very sad when characters died, and for the last chunk, like, you know, those 150, 200 page chunks where like everything happens, I kind of skim read the first time. I then had to go back and read it because I was too worried about the dog to be able to like actually pay attention to anything. I needed to know if the dog was okay. Spoiler, the dog is okay. But yeah, loved that one. The next few that I read, I don't actually have the books. So first one is The Last Dragon King, which is in the King of Avalere series by Leah Stone. I read that entire series in one go, like within like a couple days, because they're very short books and they were enjoyable, but like not my favorite. I rated that one 3 stars. It wasn't my favorite out of the series. I then read The Broken Elf King, which I rated 4 stars. Again, same thing, like it was kind of enjoyable. I did enjoy reading it, but it wasn't like my favorite. And then The Ruthless Fae King, I also rated 4 stars. And then The Forbidden Wolf King, I also rated 4 stars. I feel like they had a lot of, the maps in them aren't the best. Like a lot of the places aren't actually on the maps, and I thought after reading the first one the map would get more and more involved like with all of the other areas, and it doesn't, and I'm disappointed in that because I was confused as to where everything was. But yeah, after that I read Heir of Fire, which is the 3rd book. I rated it 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I loved Selena's parts. Selena's. I cannot speak or think today. Well, Aelin's parts, and I also loved Manon's, but it took me a bit to get into that part. And I also spent the whole time wanting it to get to Aelin's again because I really, really loved her parts. Did not like Chaol, like at all. Yeah, I just really did not like him. At the end though, I was like, oh, he's getting better. That goes out the window in the next one, which is very disappointing. But yeah, rated at 5 stars. That entire series at this point is probably going to be rated 5 stars, except for Assassin's Blade, because I'm not reading that one, which people in the comments are probably gonna hate that. But yeah, I tried reading that one years ago and I didn't like it. So I decided I'm not gonna read it. I just want to read the series, and like after I finish the series I might want to read it, but I basically kind of get the gist of everything, and I'm not that level of depressed where I want to read it knowing how that one ends. So yeah. I skipped a book. So in between reading ACOTAR and Throne of Glass, I read What Happened to Nina, which was a book of the month at work as well. I enjoyed it. I think I rated it 4 stars. Yeah, I rated it 4 stars, and yeah, I enjoyed it, but like I'm not a crime fiction fan that much. So it wasn't as enjoyable as like a fantasy book or a romantasy book, because honestly a lot of the books that I read are romantasy, because I don't want to think. Like, I don't want to have zero understanding of the world very, very quickly. That sounds exhausting, and I'm reading to stop my brain from working as much. while I'm reading to like get absorbed into the world and not have to think too much, because yeah, that's exhausting. But yeah, I then read Girl Falling, which is another crime fiction QBD book of the month from a couple months ago. I enjoyed it. I rated it 4 stars. Again, I am still kind of a little lost for words for the ending. Yeah, if you're a fan of crime fiction, I'm sure you would really like that one, but I, again, am not really a fan of crime fiction, at least not that much, because I can't read it before bed. So I have to like try and strategically think out when I'm gonna read it or listen to the audiobook. So I'm not doing it before bed, which then usually means reading 2 different books at once, which I struggle with. So yeah, the next book that I read was Percy Jackson and the Battle of the Labyrinth. I really enjoyed this one. It's been my favorite so far. I'm currently listening to the last audiobook. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Rated it 4 stars. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking it might have been a 5, if I'm being completely honest. I think I'm just waiting for that last book, because I know that last book's gonna be good, because they're all good. I mean, you can't go wrong with a Percy Jackson book. I definitely am really not happy that I did not read these when I was younger, because I would have gotten into reading so quickly. I really loved them. After that, I read my favorite book of the year so far, which was Fourth Wing. I refused to pick this one up because I heard mixed opinions on it, but yeah, 5 stars. Loved it. I loved the characters. I listened to the graphic audiobooks of it before I picked up the and I definitely recommend that. Yeah, they're really good. Graphic audiobooks are always good. I did the same thing with ACOTAR. Like, I read along while listening to the graphic audiobooks, and the casting, everything, though I have heard they do pronounce words wrong, like the names wrong in the graphic audiobook. One of my friends told me that, so that might be a problem, but yeah, really enjoyed it. A lot of people say it's really, really spicy, and I don't think it is. Like, I mean, it's like a romance book where it doesn't really start till like the middle for like the romance, and it wasn't all that spicy. Like, if you like ACOTAR, you'd like this. It's like same level of spice. But yeah, really enjoyed it. After that, I decided I wanted to read a little book, because at that point I was needing to read a lot more to complete my yearly goal, which I still am, and I decided picking up little novellas was a good idea. So I read this one, which is big fan. It's a romance book about a political strategist and her childhood crush that was in a boy band, sounding very One Direction fan fiction, which I didn't realize when I picked it up. I honestly read the political strategist, like the first line, and like about her, and I was like, ooh, love that, I want to read it. And then I brought it home and was like, oh, okay, yeah, no, that's One Direction. But you know what, I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. It was like a nice quick one afternoon read. Yeah, I rated it 5 stars. And I think I rated it 5 stars because I'm not a fan of romance books, like contemporary romance books. I need there to be something else with it. But this is the perfect length for a romance book that's just romance. Because how much conflict can you really have in it? And I hate miscommunication tropes, but I also don't want one of the main characters, mostly the male main character, to do something so bad that I don't want to read the book anymore because I'm not interested in him because he sucks. So yeah, definitely liked that one. I then read a book that I got for free on the Kobo. Oh, that's not my Kobo. on the Kobo library, which was Mating the Huntress, and that was another short one. I rated it 3 stars. It was enjoyable. I'm not like a big werewolf, like paranormal fiction girly, but yeah, it was enjoyable. I read it in the afternoon. Yeah, I really liked it, but not like as much as I liked other books. Then after that, I read Queen of Shadows, which is definitely my favorite of all of the books so far. It took me forever to read though, because every time it would get to Cale's perspective, especially since like after the last one, like his last perspective in that, I was like, okay, he might be less annoying. He seems like he's having some character growth. And then in this one, it kind of goes out the window and he's worse. He's so much worse in this one than he was in the last one. It made it really hard for me to read it. Until like the end. There was that character development for him again, which I bet you goes out of the window in Tower of Dawn. So I don't even know how I'm going to read Tower of Dawn. I think I'm going to do a tandem read with Empire of Storm, which is like those next 2 books. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I don't even have the words to describe it, because yeah, it's still not my favorite book of the year though, because that is saved for Fourth Wing. Yeah, that is all of the books that I read this year. I enjoyed a lot of them. As you can see, I'm reading a lot more Sarah J Maas books. I'm trying to finish the series until like before the new ACOTAR book comes out eventually, because I know you have to read Crescent City before that, based on like where I've been told the Crescent City books go. But in order to understand a lot of the Crescent City world, you have to read the Throne of Glass books. So I'm reading the Throne of Glass ones before I can read the Crescent City ones. So I guess it's kind of a good thing that we haven't got an announcement date for that new ACOTAR book yet, because I don't really want to have to be rushed when that one comes out, especially since I have to read Iron Flame before Onyx Storm comes out in January. But yeah, that is all of the books that I've read so far this year. If you give me a second, I'm gonna go grab my TBR like jar thing. 1 second. Alright, so I have my TBR jar. I've just folded up bits of paper and written like different cues on there. So yeah, I am a mood reader, so there's no guarantee I'm actually going to read all of these, but we shall see. I'm gonna pick out 3 different ones, and that gives me 3 options to choose from reading wise, but I probably will end up reading other ones, so we'll see. Based on these, I will come up with a few books. So there we go, that's 3. So I've got a sequel, a crime or mystery. Why did I write those? And a seasonal read. I'm very happy with this. I'm going to be reading Happy Place because that is a summer read and it is summer in Australia. And I've had Emily Henry on my like list of like authors to read, and that one is one that my friends at work really love. So it looks like I'm going to be reading that one. I'm very happy about that. But yeah, crime and mystery is a bit difficult. I'm gonna read The Ledge by Christian White, which is our book of the year at QBD. So it kind of hits 2 birds with 1 stone. I'll actually read it and it's a workbook. So yeah, I'm gonna be reading that one. I will probably end up listening to the audiobook, but yeah. And then for sequel, I'm gonna read the 5th Percy Jackson book because I've already started it. It's not gonna be dense, it'll be easy to read. Yeah. So those are my 3 books that are on my TBR. We have Happy Place by Emily Henry, The Ledge by Christian White, and then Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Last Olympian by Rick Riordan. So yeah, that doesn't actually seem too bad for this month, and then I will hit my reading goal for the end of the year. So I probably will be vlogging more of those books and reading. Yeah, this clip so far has been 25 minutes, so I'm very excited to have to edit this. But yeah, I'm gonna go now. Probably gonna end the vlog here because I want to shower and take my makeup off, and I have work tomorrow, so yeah. It's also already gonna be a long vlog because I have been talking for a while about books. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's Vlogmas. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, thumbs down. Let me know in the comments down below. Yeah, you should subscribe because I am doing Vlogmas, which is uploading every single day for 25 days. Yeah, I'm gonna go now and I will check in with you guys. I'm finishing the vlog. My brain is all over the place today. Yeah, so I'm gonna go and I will see you guys tomorrow with Vlogmas day 2. Bye.